All right, everybody, coming to you from the golf garage again. Domino number 3. All right, so our first domino was our setup, everything nice and square everywhere, right? All right, weight equal on our feet and everything, maybe even a little on the front side if you want. And then domino 2 is our takeaway, our hands passing over our back foot. And then our club head, when it's parallel to the ground, also parallel to the target line, hand over the foot, up to the top. And then a little, maybe a little bit of a cup, kind of flat, but not bowed. I know bowed is kind of the new teaching style, but we're not doing that, remember? Okay, so those are dominoes 1 and 2. Now we're on domino number 3, which is the transition. And this is the one that 98% of people go off the rails on, and it causes all the problems in their swing. Okay, so if you remember, like I just reviewed, when we get to the top, we get our hands in a little bit, maybe just a little bit of a cup there, and our thumb is underneath the shaft. We need this hinge. If we're bowed and that thumb is kind of on the side of the shaft, that may work for somebody that's really tall, really big, really strong, doesn't need to hit the ball any farther. That can be okay. But for the rest of us, especially us that are not very big or tall, or we're getting older, we're slowing down, like me, okay, we need that thumb to get underneath that shaft, and we're gonna get a little bit of that cup, okay? All right, so when we're at the top and we're there, all the weight now is on the inside of this foot and kind of on the inside of this foot, mostly on this one, all right? So there's 2 things that happen in this transition move, okay, and they both happen at the same time. The first one is getting that weight back onto our front side, okay? That's the first thing that we're gonna talk about, okay? So when we get up to the top, that first move is, I like to feel that I'm pushing off the inside of this foot. Some people may like to feel this knee rotating out. Some people might like to feel both kind of happening together. I would highly try to encourage you to feel like you're pushing off with this foot. What happens is if you rotate this knee out, that shoulder can follow, and then you guys start hitting that banana, okay? So I want you to feel that you're pushing off with this foot, and that weight is going onto the front side, okay? Some tour pros, when they get to the top, already feel like that weight is there, okay? We don't need to be there that quickly, but if we can be here, and the first thing is getting that weight to that front side, that's gonna make all the difference in the world. Because if we don't do that, if we're too slow getting the weight onto that front foot, or we don't get it there fast enough or soon enough, you're gonna struggle with fat shots, thin shots, those kind of things. So we really need to focus on that weight getting to that front side right away, quick enough and early enough, okay? That's the first thing. All right, so when we get up there, and if I just transfer that weight, push off this back foot, did you see my hands drop? I didn't drop my hands like this. That happened from my weight turning forward, okay? I pushed off with this foot onto this one and created a little bit of a side crunch. Okay, that's the first part of that. What happens to a lot of people can do that first part correctly. And they do this and they're great. Now as they swing down, club face wide open. All right, we were square at the top, but because we pushed off and we did everything correctly with our body, and the club dropped behind us, it naturally shallowed a little bit. Now that club face is open. Okay, we didn't do anything wrong with our body transfer or weight transfer, but doing it correctly is gonna leave that club face open. So we also need to square the club face with the back of our left hand. This is happening at the same time as we push off with our back foot. So to get up to the top, we push off with the back foot. Okay, that club face looks open, right? Watch if I just bow that wrist a little bit. Now that club face is square. So we do want that bowed left wrist. I just don't want you to see it. I don't want you to have it at the top of your backswing. I want you to create that as you're coming down. And we don't want to be here and then create it late. That's gonna open up a whole new can of worms, okay? So from the top, we push off with the back foot and we bow that wrist together. Now we're in a good spot. That wrist is bowed. This wrist is flexed back. that bowing motion caused this elbow to tuck in a little bit, okay? You hear all this stuff about shallowing the club head. You gotta be steeper on the way back and shallow it on the way down. And they'll show you examples of like Sergio Garcia, because nobody shallows it more than he does. But he's an extreme outlier, all right? You don't need to shallow it that much. If you watch Tiger Woods swing from 2000, 2001, when he was at his best, when he was still working with Bush Harmon, he shallowed the club very, very little. It did happen, but it was very, very little, okay? So how much do you need to shallow the club? That answer is very, very little. Okay, so I don't want you watching all these shallowing videos because it's crap, all right? If you do this right here with your hand, if you get that hand from a little bit cupped to bowed, look at that shaft, look at the club, it's shallow, right there. That's all the shallowing you need. And now you're in a perfect spot to deliver a good solid strike. Okay, you hear a lot of stuff about holding this angle. You can't hold this angle long enough and that's all your speed. Again, crap. You can hold that angle all the way here and that face is wide open and you can shank the hell out of it to the right. Okay, that's not the angle we're trying to hold. The angle that we really want to hold is made with this wrist. So when we go in transition and we bow that wrist coming down in transition, I've created an angle here. That's the angle I really want to hold on to. Okay? Yes, you can't release this angle because you're going to hit fat, but the angle I really want to hold on to is this one right here. And then you turn through and you let it fly. Okay? That's the transition. This is the thing that nobody understands, and it's why it's taught so poorly, is because I think most teaching pros don't understand it either. Okay? You have to strengthen the club face in transition on the way down. You're square, you come down, it starts to open. You have to fight that opening by strengthening it with this left hand. Okay? That's the transition move. So we're at the top, it's a little cupped. Now all my weight, or 70% of my weight, is on my front foot, and this wrist is bowed. And I barely moved the club. I haven't really even moved it with my arms. It's all body and the back of that left hand. That's the transition move. If you can get to this spot, you're gonna hit great golf shots. Okay? Might not make you a better golfer, we talked about that, but it'll make you a better ball striker. Okay? So I really want you guys to focus on, at the top, we got that, just let that thumb get under that shaft. We got the weight on the inside of this foot, and then we're pushing off, and we're bowing the left wrist. Push off and bow, that's it. Right there. That's the move right there I want you guys to master. Okay? Because then as we get down lower, we're more square, and then we'll work on the downswing in the next video, because some of you are still gonna leave the ball a little bit right. Some of you are gonna hit snap hooks, which would be awesome, because I'll show you how to fix that, okay? Some of you might just start striking, okay? You're gonna be in one of those three areas, all right? Or somewhere in between. But I have a cure for whatever your miss is in the downswing video coming up next, okay? So work on this transition move, study this, understand this. If you have questions about it, ask me, I'll be more than happy to answer them, okay? And then wait for the downswing video, and that'll kind of be the final piece of this puzzle for ball striking. So work on this, and we will see you guys very, very soon. Take care.